John here. Here's lick of the day number 9, neoclassical picking thing in A minor. You know the drill by now. You have the tabs in the description below, and also something will pop up somewhere around here, which you can click on and go straight to the tabs. I'm just gonna go straight into the thing, play it through slowly as usual, and then break it down for you. All right, so we started on the 5th fret of the high E string. Around 90% of this lick is in A Aeolian. It's sort of natural minor scale, which is the same as the C major scale. So if you know that stuff, this should be fairly easy to follow along with. And if you don't know it, you should really learn it. At the end here, we're going to switch to harmonic minor to get that neoclassical sound. But it's basically ascending sixes that goes down in pitch. So we start here, the 5th fret of the E string, and we go 5, 7, 8, and then the next string is 5, 6, 8. So it's all alternate picked until the end, where we do some sweeping. So, and it's groups of 6 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we restart that on the F here. We got 6, 8, 10. And then 5, 7, 9. Move up to D. And we got 5, 7, 10. No, we got 7, 9, 10 on both the G and the D string. And then after that, we're gonna move up on this to the 9th fret, and then we're gonna go up the scale in sort of a more regular fashion. So from the beginning. And we're gonna go up here in this very much Yngwie-inspired pattern, but I've seen other players use it as well. But it basically combines the natural minor scale with the harmonic minor scale. So we got this, all natural minor, starting on the 2nd degree of the scales. So we go up 2nd degree, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. Then we add the natural 7th, which would be the quintessential harmonic minor note, as more of a passing tone, but it still gives you that flavor of what's to come, right? So also the fingering is very easy. It's the same fingering on all 3 strings. So 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12. And then on the high E string, we go 8, 10, 12, and that's going to lead us up to the flat 6 here, where we're going to start playing some diminished 7th arpeggios. So again, from the beginning. So if you've done this correctly with the picking, you should end up with a downstroke here. And the diminished 7th arpeggio looks like this: 13, 10, 12, 13. And then we have exactly the same shape, 3 frets up. So it's a very handy shape to learn because it's the same thing, you just repeat it 4 times and then you're back where you started. And that's because the diminished chord is symmetrical pattern. So we'll only play it twice here, and then we'll lead into the root note of the key, the A up here, and go down the A minor arpeggio. So if we play it from the first diminished 7th arpeggio. So it's still 6 notes. And we start this arpeggio with a downstroke, so because we're coming from here. But it doesn't matter because we have a pull-off. So you could really go with a downstroke or an upstroke, but in this case, if you're alternate picking, you're gonna end up with a downstroke. So you got down, pull off, and then up. And from here, we do the sweep. And don't do that. Try to get the separation of the notes. Really helpful thing here is to cut the notes short when you practice slowly, because when you speed it up, it will just sound like the notes are more legato, but they will feel way more articulated. Another thing that I want to add here is actually based on a comment that I got from Joe. He's a former private student of mine, and he was asking about, he had a bit of an issue with the sweep in a previous lick, where you would go up, when you have these 3-string sweeps, it might look logical to go down, pull up, up, and then down, down. But the problem with that is that it's very hard to turn around in the middle of a sweep, because here you're right in the middle of the sweep, then you have to turn it around and get another sweep the other direction. So when you're coming from here, since you have a pull-off in between, that stops your momentum. So really, this note, I played it with an upstroke, but then I treat it more like alternate picking. So it's up and then down into a rest stroke on the G string. Like this. So this is a good exercise actually, just to get this down. So you go up, and you can, if you angle the hand out a bit into this sort of downward pick slanting angle, it's fairly easy to get this sort of a snapping motion. And if you add the notes before it, and once you're there, then you're right in the sweep. So then the picking should sort of take care of itself. But really make sure that you get a downstroke on the G string in this case, because that will help you out to get these arpeggios way more even, and instead of trying to change direction in the middle of the sweep. I'm sure there's someone out there that can do that really well and it works great for them, but I would say that pretty much any guitar player I've seen with a good sweeping technique does it this way, from Yngwie to, well, all the good sweepers basically tend to do it this way, because it's just easier to not have to turn it around in the middle of the sweep. So focus on that if you have trouble. So again, from the picking thing, and then once we're here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you shift up to the same type of shape, but 3 frets up. I like to look for the pinky and index finger. So in the next position where you had the pinky, that's where the index finger should be. So, and the picking in this case is going to be an upstroke, and the reason for that is because we're coming from this downstroke already. So if you get confused by all these pick strokes, just get the tabs. You have the tabs in the description. Every pick stroke is written out just the way that I played it. So check that out. Anyway, so from this arpeggio, went up with an upstroke on the A here on the high E string, and we'll go down this arpeggio. And this is basically based on the bar chord with the root on the A string. So we just add this note on top. So we got 17, 12, and we got 13, and then we have 14, 14, 15, and then finally 12. And the fingering is a bit different compared to a chord, but I'll play it like this. So pinky, index finger, second finger, and then the third finger. Whoops. And I roll this. And that's another technique I really think you should get comfortable with, because even though there's players out there that do no rolling at all, like Jason Richardson, but he also has to do it in some shapes, it said. So, and if you look at Frank Gambale, for example, who's like the best sweeper of them all, in my opinion, he does a shit ton of rolling. So it's a good technique to learn. So. All right, so as far as practicing this, one thing that I think you should try, and you could try this on anything else that you're practicing as well, and this worked with any technique, even though picking might seem like the most logical one, is to work with accents. So basically you play through the entire thing, but you put an accent at certain spots. And in this case, I'm going to divide it by the subdivision, and we have 6 notes per beat. So you play it through once and putting an accent on the 1 the whole time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you can do that, then you accent number 2. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you guessed it, number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6. And then once you've done that, you can try playing it again, see if it feels better, and then just repeat the process. It's a really good way to stay focused. And also, you're going to find that your synchronization gets better because you get to focus on each individual note of the whole thing once you've played through the entire thing 6 times. So that's one of my favorite ways of practicing. You can also do this even a bit harder, is if you play this thing instead of 16-note triplets, maybe you do it in 16th notes. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and so on. And then you accent the first 16th note, the second, the third, and the fourth. And you're going to find that you really have to focus because now it's not grouped in that more convenient 6-note grouping. Now you have to keep track of the group of 4. And not only that, you need to be able to accent whatever note you're accenting. And like I said, this doesn't, you don't have to pick everything to accent. So when you come here, for example, if you want to accent the second note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you just whack it a bit more. And as far as how loud the accents should be, I'm kind of exaggerating here so you can really hear what I'm doing. But for a lot of my students, I call this mental accents because it's more about your brain focusing on each note, on each individual note when you practice it. So you don't necessarily need to go, right? You can still accent it by just slightly pressing a bit harder, like 2% harder with whatever finger you're on, and then slightly hitting it a bit harder with the pick as well. Because you don't want to overdo it in that sense. It's more about getting these hands more synchronized. So give that a try, and if you have any problems or questions, just let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, have fun with this one, and see you in the next one.